Hey, I'm Scott Wells with the Cats Roadshow. This is Dan Parish. He's a finished carpentry contractor from LA. He's got 80 employees out in the field working. That's crazy. So he's a crazy man. And this is Paul Akers.
Another finished carpenter.
He's a finished carpenter. He might be the inventor of crazy just because of his zany attitude.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to tour his facility today, which not many people get to really do anymore because they have so many requests. They can only allow so many people to come through here. We're lucky enough to get to do it. We're going to see how this place ticks.
One thing you want to observe is our offices all stand up. You can sit down if you want. Most people stand up during the day. If they get tired at the end of the day, they can sit down. That allows us to be very free and answer questions. People come up to us at the office. We're not going up and down, so it's very fluid. We've made everything. Everything's made out of plywood. All the desks are pipe. Everything's on wheels. Everything in our facility is basically on. It's all open. There's no walls. Wow. We want total communication. We believe that walls tell lies. So the more walls there are, the more disinformation you're going to get. This is a pretty good sized company, 40 countries, 600 distributors around the world, and you're looking at the entire office that runs the entire company.
Okay, Fastcap's principle. Winston Churchill said these words. On to Deming's 14 points. Greg, to achieve quality, we must eliminate the need for
inspection.
Very good. Inspection. So what does that mean, Greg?
Well, quality should be built into the process from the very beginning. You should not be producing things that need to be inspected. You should be going through and looking at it at each step and verifying that the quality is good and never passing it on to somebody else if it's not.
What is the easiest way to maintain that?
Through, a standard process that everyone follows, that everyone knows about.
The 14th Amendment. Matt. Prepared. I think my passion,
I don't know if that was the new system or if it's just getting better, but I've noticed that your transitions was better.
This system makes things so much easier to do this.
How many people want the iPad? How many people want the iPhone?
There's a lot of people that have done it.
Well, I think it was incredible that you stepped in at the last moment and did that. So, okay, let's go to work. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Austin. That's what happens every day. Again, we've been doing it for at least 12 years and we've never missed. We believe that if we have smart people that are well educated, that they're going to be able to solve any problems. We're not here to work. We're here to improve the way we work. That's completely different. So imagine your people coming in, Dan, every day and saying, they're not here to do carpentry or trim work. They're not here to do that. They're here to improve the way you do carpentry and trim work. So wherever the bottleneck is, wherever there's a demand from our customer, we can move our people and our force there to solve the bottleneck. So everybody's moving around because they're cross-trained and they can do so many different jobs. We are all about one thing, the customer. And we teach people, it's not about you. So when you walk in the door to come to work for Fastcap, if you think, well, what am I gonna get out of this and what am I gonna get out of, you're working in the wrong place. We're here for one reason and one reason only, the customer. And when you get that straight, you're going to have the greatest life in the whole world because everybody's going to want to come back to you and everybody's going to want you to work for them. Everyone's going to want, because you got your priorities straight. So it's all about the customer. And that's why we don't have a marketing and sales department, because we don't need one. Our customers are the marketing and sales department. They tell everyone. We don't ever have to say a word. And what's more powerful than that? Oh, just forget about it. Just deal with Fastcap. They're going to take care of you. They're going to do anything you want.
The reality is when you're involved in something where you're creating value for others, for the customer, that feels good.
It's the meaning of life.
Right.
I feel like I'm worthy as a human being when I know I can help Jake or I can help Truman or I can help Rhonda improve their life. That's what makes me feel good. Does it make me feel good to have more money in my bank? Come on. We teach people that gratitude is the key. If you don't walk in to life and wake up every morning and just be grateful to be born in America and to have all the opportunities we have, everything has been prepared for us. I mean, it's a cakewalk. Anybody that has an excuse that's born in this country, you've got to be brain dead. It's all done. The sewers work, the streets work, the phones work, we have communication system. You can go to Starbucks, get free Wi-Fi. You can go to the library, get free Wi-Fi. You can go get books. It's all there. We got community colleges you can go to practically for free. You know what I'm saying? If you're not grateful, if you don't approach life with gratitude, then you're screwed. And so we teach gratitude. 6 people every day talk about what they're grateful for. So we don't have all this drama that goes on in most companies with people. I mean, we're grateful people that we get to work here. We get to the fundamentals of what life is really all about, and everything else takes care of itself. This is the kitchen. And then the only other thing you'll ever see on the wall here is this. Processes. You'll never see, remember to clean up after yourself. Oh my gosh, that would be crazy. We would never do that. I mean, our people just do that by default because they've been trained to do it. So we have a clear process, again, with the QR codes on how to do everything, whether it be cleaning see the coffee maker, the QR code there. You want to know how to clean the coffee maker? It's right there. You open up the drawers, everything's set in Kaizen foam. It's amazing.
You have employees that don't get it.
It doesn't happen.
And they've been called out. Have you had to fire people?
Oh yeah. Excuse me. There are a few. Yes, we have had to fire people, but it's pretty rare because we hire correctly on the front end.
There you go.
And so the way we hire is totally different.
Really?
It's a video resume. We don't accept any resumes. Resumes are all lies. We won't even accept it. If you want to work for us, you make a 1 to 2 minute video, take your iPhone, take your smartphone, and tell me who you are. We hire for character, teach for skill. We don't care what you know how to do, we care about your character. We care about your attitude, your humility, your willingness to want to learn, your curiosity. These are the kind of characteristics we're looking for in people, because if you have that, we can teach you to do anything. Everything we do, Dan, you're an owner, it's all our fault. We have set up these stupid processes and we want these people to obey by them and abide by them, and it's all our fault. So I started learning a different way of thinking from Toyota, and that was invest everything in the human being, in the individual, teach and train them, and they will change everything. All manufacturing is happening down this corridor. So we have a really clean system, and it's very open and easy to understand. Because you can see the proximity of the raw material in relationship to where the machine is. So they're not having to travel very far to do anything. Okay, and then the material, then it just goes that direction to ship. So this is Fast Edge that's being produced in this cell right here, and Fast Caps are all being produced here. All the tools are set in place. Everything's GPS taped, so the green means this department. So if it's got green tape on it, so if this tool was sitting right over here, right? Somebody would pick it up and say, oh, it's green. Oh, it must go to Peter's place, right? Because they know this is the green area. Okay? So it's GPS tape, just like that.
I hate wasting time looking for tools.
You know, if one tool is missing in this company, we shut it down. So this is Yuri, and Yuri's been with us 16 years, Yuri?
Yeah, for 16 years.
16 years,
yeah.
great.
Okay, and the company's 20 years old, so he came in the very, very beginning, and from Ukraine, right?
I came from.
Yuri's been to Japan, trained in Toyota. You know, I think we've had like 16 people now go to Japan. 16 of our workers, you know, go to Japan. It's unheard of. You know, it's a $10,000 trip, and we send our regular people to Japan. It's an executive level trip. That's the level we invest in our people. It's unheard of.
Close.
Everything's close.
Very close. So you have as less as possible motion and walking, and transport things on a pallet jack or something as much as you can to your machine or anybody, whatever station they are working on.
Okay, so now we're in the best fence area. This is Greg. He builds all the best fences just in time, just to order. So if you order best fence, he's going to make it.
One of the biggest things we have is the best fence stop. It's what allows our system to work. This is the build cell for it. It used to kind of be spread all over, but I've condensed it down into this one POP right here, which starts at the top and ends all on this little jig right here. So you grab your first part, which is the stop body, fits right into this nice MyGrip jig we've made for it.
What is this little mold right here?
It's our MyGrip material, and what we did is we just heated it, layered it, and then we pressed this in there so it forms a nice little...
So it just holds it perfect every time?
Yeah, perfect every time. So it doesn't even have to move, like it doesn't move or anything. Next part down is our little stop clamp piece, and then it's the very next part down from that which is the bolt that goes through. And then just next to that is the lock nut that goes on it. Just kind of stick that on, get it started. And then we have our drill, which is on actually a drawer slide.
On a drawer slide, nice.
Just moves it right over. Grab your little wrench, which is always magnetized right there. This is the tricky part. Go until it's fairly tight, because the tighter you make it, the less wiggle it has when it's up in here.
Got it.
So we get it really nice and tight. And then we grab our T-nut, which is the next part down, because I'm just going to test for fit right now. Okay, that works. So now that I have that selected, I grab our 2 little screws, and these allow us to mount a bit of red, actually fishing line.
Really?
So people get a nice marking gauge from it.
And your screwdriver's even magnetized.
It is.
So wherever you drop that screw, you can pick it up.
Because I got fairly small fingers, but some of the guys who work back here with me don't. So you can
Got it.
just stab it in, pull out the correct amount. And now from in the depths there comes my fishing line. You just take around the bottom one, wrap it one time, bring it straight up, give it a nice tightening down. You don't want to over tighten it because you'll break the fishing line, but it's all about finesse.
And that's the center line.
That is the center line,
what
and
you're
you'll
reading.
actually see it over here
Got
because
it.
we test it. You clip off a little bit of excess, it goes back in there, and then this part is just the main thing ready for the next one. So you put it on that same one that we found out worked earlier, set it to, it's actually 14 inches on this thing, but we also have it shadowed out for easy, easy visual finding. Put on your back knob, get it all nice and tight. And then from down here is the actual stopwood component. It's got this nice dado cut out of it, which allows for some micro adjust on it. You grab another one of these T-nuts, slides up and in just like that. Grab another one of the knobs. And then our last step here is to put on all the stickers. So we have our nice Best Fence Shop Accuracy in the Field badging, which goes right here, and it's shadowed out on the top, so they always go in the same exact spot. And then the QR code telling people this is our stop, this is how to use it, how to zero it out. If you ever need to replace anything, this is how you do it.
Oh wow, so
sort of a thing.
the end user can log on to the instructional videos.
Yeah, they just scan it with, like my phone. Every time you take a picture of a
Sure.
QR code, it automatically reads it. Some have like programs you can scan them with.
Wow.
So, and it brings them directly to YouTube. And then the best sticker is the Made in the USA sticker, which goes right there in the middle. And that's a full and completed stop. All I got to do now is test it. So, to do that, I just take it over there onto whatever I'm building, run it through a couple times, and we're good to go. This is another jig that lives right below it too for a completely different product. This is for our work table for the pro systems and for the non-pro system. But you just take the piece of wood, stick it in there until it doesn't go any further. Put this guy in there until it doesn't go any further, and it's locked in on the side and in the back there. Grab your 3 screws. Somebody stole my gun.
Oh.
I bet it was my engineer.
Is it color coded so you know where it goes?
It is color coded. Best Fence is white.
Got it. Best Fence is white.
Go in there.
Wow.
And then it just gets this handy dandy, nifty little clip. Goes right on there.
I'll give it a clip.
So you can put tools on there, or you can take and stick a piece of paper on there with your cut list so you know exactly what you got to cut, and it just sits right in the front of the saw stand. So,
Nice.
But it's super dialed in.
This is the Polk Workbench, and he's building them one at a time, just in time as he goes. So he's got his little cart here that he has all the supplies on, everything he needs to build, so he's just rolling things on, and the cart moves around with him as he's doing it. And then all the parts get cut out over here on the CNC machine. So,
everything's CNC.
yeah, so everything's CNC'd, so no big batches, we don't have piles of inventory anywhere.
Yeah.
Everything's done just in time.
How fast does he produce a Polk Workbench? I mean, there's probably some
Is
variations.
it an hour and a half to start to finish cut out, or 2
Cutting
hours?
it out, as the machine's actually cutting, it's only 20 minutes for
Okay.
the Polk bench. Unloading, loading, putting it all together, a little under 2 hours.
Okay,
Wow.
out the door.
Out the door.
So there's your
That's
2 hours
big.
fax to truck.
Yep.
Right? So most people can't even, everyone would have all this inventory. No. We want to figure out how to do everything just in time, because then everything needs to keep growing in terms of your footprint. As your company grows, you got to keep growing. But no, if you figure out how to do, if you figure out how to do things just in time, then everything changes. This is Dennis. He's our head engineer. He runs this whole department.
We take a lot of ideas from the inventors. One of the inventors sent us this. It's the prototype of a speed skate. He used aluminum, piece of wood, and skateboard wheels. So you put it on the ground, and you put a whole sheet of plywood on it, and you put it right in the center so you can roll it around. So you can handle the whole sheet by yourself. And we made it into a product we call the speed skate. And then we combine it with another product that we made. It's this is sits on top of the third hand, and if you have a little one, you can pump out the bathroom partition, and this will holding the panel up for you when you are fastening it. So then we combine the two items together. We designed this for the granite industry, so they can have a couple of these on the granite. You clip it on. This is very, very flexible.
So they can roll granite around job sites or in the warehouse.
Yeah. So you roll it around, and then when you
that's-
have to go through like a threshold, if they're extension cord or
Yeah.
door jamb, you can just lift it up, and this will stay with it. We have this board here. We call this the shadow board. This is our thinking board.
So this whole board right here is all the products that you guys have developed, and it's here for inspiration, but also just to help with designing new products.
So when we're developing something similar to it, we can just grab and take a look right away. Yeah, so this is our project board. Each card is one project. A lot of them are projects like this, submitted by inventors. So we use this to track where the what's the progress for the projects. So this is just a board that show us where the bottleneck is on the developing process.
It's like a flow chart.
Yep.
So Dennis, you've been with us about 3 years? How long? 3 years?
Almost 4 years. Right?
4 years. Oh God, it goes by so quick. But so Dennis is one of our things. We talk about banishing sloppiness and falling in love with precision. This year, 2018, our big emphasis is expose. We want our people to be exposed to world-class manufacturing around the world so they can learn and move to the next level. But Dennis has been here 4 years now, and he's been to Japan twice, China twice,
Yeah.
St. Louis, Canada, and then we're going to Germany this year on another thing. So we're just putting people all over the place so they can learn and bring up their game all the time.
I'm here with Skylar at Fastcap. He works in the molding department. He's going to show us what he does.
All right, so if you take a look behind here, here's all of our molds that we can run. So we've got about 100 different molds, so that's about 100 different parts that we make in a few different colors. So here's our raw materials, and here's our colorants. So these are all the different colors we can make. And so if you look on the colors, these are the parts that this color makes, that we make out of this color. And so this red mark is how we control our Kanban. I'll just keep an eye on it, and when it gets down to this point, pull this card, deliver it to Leanne. It's got all the information she needs to order it, and then she can record and keep track of when we've ordered. We keep our pallets organized by numbers, so I was having trouble finding the mold that I needed when it was time to come get it. So I would go get my pallet jack, and then I'd start looking, and I decided, well, another good idea to keep the solution right where the problem was. These are all the molds we've got here. So when I go to get my pallet jack, I just look on here, I say I need the ETR mold, it's number 831. Material in the dryer is here. So it loads up, goes down in here, and we mix it up with the colorants, weigh it all out, dump it into the mixer, and then it goes straight into here where it's got an auto feeder, and then we'll load it straight up in the machine. Just sucks all by itself.
So, how old are you?
I'm 23.
23, and how long have you worked here?
About 3.5 years.
Wow, and you're making improvements inside of this area all the time.
Every day, yeah, it's part. I have to.
It's part of the job, right?
Yep. Trying to figure stuff out on your own a lot more. Trying to problem solve and just come up with solutions for stuff that normally, you know, it wouldn't bother a regular person, but for someone who sees waste and everything, they just start eliminating it everywhere. So, because I'm in charge of this area, and if we run out of parts, then it's on me, you know. So if I want to be able to get those parts out, then I gotta make ways to make it easier for me. And also, companies everywhere are making improvements, and if we don't do that, I'm not gonna have a job. You know, I like having a job, so if I want to protect that, we've got to try hard, and you got to have pride in your work, and you got to put out quality stuff and do it as cheaply and as quickly as you can, or else we're going to get eaten up by someone else, you know?
This is Lucas at Fastcap. He's an engineer here at Fastcap, and he's going to show us some of the stuff he does around here.
So I lead all the production areas. This is where we do all our assembly tasks. So we have over 300 different assembly tasks we do in these 7 aisles we have right here. So all of our product that we store for doing assembly is down the aisle that we're going to do assembly in. So we have a nice workflow. It comes out of the aisle, gets assembled. It comes right behind you guys here to the finished pallet. So if you take a look here, it's empty right now. The water spider just brought it all to the grocery area. But this is where we place all our finished goods, and they go from here up into the grocery and then straight out into a UPS truck. So we've looked at the spaghetti trail throughout the facility, try to minimize that as much as possible. Couple, 3 or 4 words you can put on one of these 8-step process sheets that actually conveys the message of what you're trying to get across very quickly and simply. So to make one of these, we found takes at least half an hour to actually do a good one. And with the little amount of text you get, you end up losing a lot of information. We've gone from the 8-step process to actual video processes. So this is our Kanban board. This shows basically what work needs to get done right now.
Okay.
We set our Kanban levels. So have you guys been through the grocery area yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so the grocery store is basically where we pick all our orders. So we get an order in, we want it to go fax to truck in 2 hours.
Okay.
So when we get the order,
fast.
Very fast.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy John's fast. So if we keep too much in grocery, the grocery store becomes huge, then they have to go twice as far to pick every order. That's going to slow them down. So we keep the smallest amount we can where we still have enough to fulfill every order is the goal.
The sweet spot.
Yeah, the sweet spot. And we're always trying to find what that is. And unlike a lot of companies do it all mathematically. They say we want to have 3 days of inventory and grocery at all times. So I'm going to calculate what 3 days is, and that's going to be my Kanban level. We've actually looked at it a little bit more from a human perspective because we want happy, engaged employees. So part of what goes into our calculations for what should be a good number is how long it actually takes to do the production. Okay. And we don't want anyone standing in one station doing the same thing for more than 1 hour. Because after 1 hour, your quality starts to go down, your speed starts to go down, and your ability to come up with new, fresh, good ideas of how to make the process better just completely out the door as you start talking to the person next to you and not paying attention, right?
Okay.
So each one of these Kanban cards is a basically signal that we need to build more. So on the Kanban card, we say what the Kanban quantity is. So for this one, we keep 15 in grocery. When we get down to 15, we'll build 15 more. So we have the time it takes to sell those last 15 to replenish them.
Got it.
And when you grab this card, right now we're working on a big order, so these top ones are all for that order, but everything here goes like you're reading a book, so you don't have to ask a manager or anything what to do. You look at this board, you just walk up and grab whatever's on the top left. That's the most important thing to do. And when you turn the card over, every card has a QR code on the back. And so we have an iPad we all share, or we all have QR code scanners on our phone. And so when you scan this QR code, it'll show you what aisle to go to, where to find everything you need, how to set up your build station, so how it should look, where everything should be laid out, and then it'll go through step by step exactly how to do the build. It'll then show you how to do a couple of them fast, so you should see how the flow should work, and then it'll go through where to get anything you might need to restock the station, because when we walk away from it, we always leave it set up for the next person, so when you walk up, everything's good to go.
You can watch the video, and that's in lieu of looking at something like this, which doesn't really get it done.
Yeah.
Doesn't do what the video can do.
It doesn't, not even close. You know, you say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but a video has what, 60 frames per second? So you're getting 1,000 words times 60
and
times
you can
per
hit
second.
pause if you need to.
Yep, and you can replay, and you actually get to watch the motion they're doing. It makes a huge difference.
Wow.
And
that sounds really efficient.
And why do we do that? What principle, what philosophy are we hearing to?
we're going along with something Bob Taylor taught us, which is that anything that's worth doing is worth doing poorly, and that anything that you can think of to do should be done right now. I believe that's from Ono, is that right?
Right.
So what these are is it's a little doorstop for European style cabinet doors, and opposed to having to place it exactly the right distance in to get your cabinet doors to sit flush, the center hole is off center, so it kind of cams around, so you get it close enough and you can just spin that and it's going to adjust how far in or out your door goes. So we sell these in 10 packs, and before what we were doing is using a scooper and getting at least 10, but wasting a bunch of door stops to make sure a customer never got less than 10, but without wasting our time to count them all out, because we injection mold these here. They're not that expensive. It's not worth your time to count 10 every time. So together with Dennis and Tyler, we came up with this jig idea where you just plug it in here, and it's actually going to fill this trough right here. And when you hit the button, it's going to dispense exactly your 10 into your bag every time. So all you do is take a bag, stick a sticker on, stick the bag under there, and push the button, and you get 10 every time. And it basically just goes up and down, fills this track, stops it at 10, and drops just those 10 out.
And they made it here.
And we made it here. So this is one of ours that we build 90 to 120 of these a day. They take about a minute per part. And so we've gone through and looked very, very closely at every inch we're moving while we're building these. So we have a whole box of product here from injection molding. We've actually put these on. We got this idea from a pool chair. So when the box gets empty, you can tilt it up like this so it's easier to reach in. When it's full, so they don't all fall back on you, this whole thing actually goes at different angles.
Got it.
So it's basically just like a pool chair thing. And then everything you need to build it is within inches of where your hands are when you're standing here. So I'll show you the process for one of these. Basically, you just take two of these bodies out right here. This jig dispenses you 2 blades every time. They're kind of oily and stick together.
Okay.
So that's going to separate them and give you your 2. Put your 2 blades down in here. The screw gun's directly above where you need it already. Set up on a clutch so you get the right tension every time. You don't even have to think about it, right? We have a standard process for what order the screws go in. So you do 1 in each one and then finish off on each one. O-rings are right next to you here. They go on your posts. And then the silicone, we made a little dabber here, and it just goes down in the holes so it slides nicely. That's on a magnet, so it sits right there. Take one and flip it over. You can see we used our product here, My Grip. This is a moldable plastic basically. You heat it up in hot water and it molds to anything. So this took probably 1 minute to make this jig that fits perfectly to the body. Give it a push and make sure the pneumatic's working. Then for folding the label, right where the label comes out, we have a folder, so you don't even have to think about it, just right on the crease. And this goes in a clamshell just like that. And so we've looked through every little bit of motion, but not just the motion of building it. The screws, when they run out, there's an entire box right here, it's inches away. The O-rings, when they run out, they're right underneath you. Same with the silicone, which is right here, and the blades that are right here. So you're not going anywhere to restock it. And you know, this has come together. It's one step at a time. It's little improvements that make all this happen. Each one of these things you see was somebody's improvement for a day.
I love the fact that you guys are empowered to make those changes.
Absolutely, it makes it fun.
The shipping department, again, you can see how everything's very calm. And so everything's just flowing right into the truck right here. Everything's put on carts. We make all the carts. This is the main grocery store. So Peter's picking an order right now and it's coming down here. It'll be delivered here. See these clipboards?
Yeah.
Next day air UPS, second day air, okay? Third day air, FedEx. Now watch what happens. So a customer, you say, Paul, I need speed braces next day air. What are we going to do? We're going to poke-yoke. That means mistake proof it so nobody can make a mistake. So that order immediately goes on a clipboard the next day. It doesn't just float around here. It could get missed. And you're going to be pissed at me. You need your product to show up for tomorrow. You got a big design competition you're doing, right? So now it's on here. Guess what? It comes to 4 o'clock. The cutoff's 4:30. You look down there and you say, oh my gosh, there are 2 clipboards missing. What does that tell you?
Orders have not been filled.
Yeah, somebody didn't, we didn't get the order out the door. So we go find that clipboard and make sure it gets out the door so you're not pissed at us. These are all the different size boxes we have, all color coded, right? So if I want a fuchsia box because I've got a big order, I look down here, I find the fuchsia box, it's right here. There you go.
Color coded.
Color coded. You already know our system. The Kaizen foam is like off the charts. That's our #1 selling product in the world.
Really?
Oh, you sell that foam.
We make it, yeah, and it's incredible. It is just like the biggest selling product ever. I get a lot of requests to sign my book, right? So this request is even more incredible, and then I didn't stage this. This is actually for Toyota. Toyota called me on the weekend and they said, you know, we want you to come down and speak, and we want 50 of your books to hand out to all of our people. So, and they asked if you would sign them, that would be great. So normally what I do is I open the box from the top, pull out a book, and I sign it like this, and then put it over there, and then do another one, because I want the Sharpie to dry before I put it on top. So I just keep going like this, okay? But this time I got a better idea because I hate doing it. I opened the box from the bottom and just lifted the box off so they're all stacked the way I need them. Then what I'm gonna do, and it works great, I sign it, I put it right back in the box, one piece flow, one at a time, and by staggering them back and forth, it gives me plenty of time for the ink to dry. And then I already checked it to make sure it's working great. I'll show you. So now this one's gonna go on this side, and then I'll pull this one off real quick. Here, no ink on the back, so there's no problem. And then I just keep going, and it's much, much easier. And did you see the improvement I need to make right there? Anyone see it? I need to flip these around so I'm not turning them all. Hey, welcome to Fastcap. You got your tour.
That was awesome.
Thanks, you guys.
so much, Paul.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank you
It
very
was great.
much.
You guys were awesome.